The scent of lavender lingered in the air, mingling with the traces of whatever fragrant oils they'd used at that spa she'd been raving about for weeks. There was something different about her, a certain glow that hadn't been there in months. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes alight with an energy I hadn't seen in ages. It was as if she'd plugged herself into something, recharged with an energy I couldn't name, but suspected I didn't want to know about. "How was it?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Neutral, as she floated past me, humming a tune I didn't recognize. "It was divine," she replied, her voice glowing with enthusiasm. "Absolutely divine, Colton." She tossed her purse onto the kitchen counter with an ease that came from practice. "They have this incredible facial massage. I swear it took 10 years off my face. You should try it sometime." I watched her, narrowing my eyes, trying to push down the cold knot of suspicion in my stomach. Was it really just a spa day, or was it 10 years of guilt wiped clean? I'd been feeling it for weeks. Those late nights at work, the whispered phone calls, the way she flinched when I touched her. All of it pointed to something I wasn't ready to face, but could no longer deny. So, I did what I had to do. I hired a private investigator. The report was a punch to the gut. Pictures, dates, times, all laid out in grim detail. The man she'd been with wasn't anyone I knew, just a younger guy from the gym. The kind of guy she probably thought made her feel young again. I'd spent the last few days contemplating my response, carefully shaping it, trying to focus my anger into something more controlled. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to beg. I just wanted her to understand, to feel the sting of betrayal I was living with. "I'm glad you had fun," I said, forcing a smile that felt more like a grimace. "I actually made us dinner." She seemed surprised. Usually, I'm the one ordering takeout. "Oh, that's sweet," she replied, her voice too sweet, too insincere. "What did you make?" I gestured toward the dining room. The table was set with our finest china, silver gleaming under the soft glow of candles, her favorite flowers in the center, everything in place. She gasped when she saw it, her eyes wide. "Colton, this is beautiful," she said, her tone softening, almost apologetic. For a moment, I almost believed her. "Come sit," I said, pulling out her chair for her. She took a seat, a mix of awe and apprehension in her eyes. The only thing on the table was a covered platter. "I made something special just for you," I said, my voice tight, each word carefully measured. I lifted the clock with a flourish, and underneath there was no gourmet meal, no fancy dish. It was the investigator report neatly laid out on a large platter, the photos arranged on top, her and the other man embracing in various poses, a grotesque collage of her betrayal. Her face drained of color as she stared at the evidence, her breath coming in short, shallow gasps. She covered her mouth with one manicured hand, eyes wide in horror. "What is this?" she whispered. "It's a summary of your spa day, Melissa," I said calmly, my voice steady but cold. "Or should I say your gym day? You know, the one where you worked out so hard with that personal trainer of yours." Her knees buckled and she collapsed to the floor, her legs giving way. She reached out toward me, her eyes full of terror. "Colton, please. It's not what it looks like," she begged, her voice trembling. "You don't understand." "Oh, I think I understand perfectly," I said. My voice now I see. "I understand that you've been lying to me for months. That you've been sleeping with another man while I've been here working my ass off to provide for you. I understand that you're a complete fraud." Tears welled up in her eyes and black mascara strayed down her face. She was a mess, a pathetic, broken thing, and for a fleeting moment, I almost felt sorry for her. But then that pity quickly turned to a searing anger, one that I couldn't quite suppress. I'm so sorry, Colton. So sorry, she cried, crawling toward me, her voice desperate. I don't know what I was thinking. Please, please forgive me. I stood towering over her, the rehearsed words flowing from me as if I had been saying them in my mind for days. I felt oddly detached, like I was watching the scene unfold from the outside. Forgive you, I said, my voice dripping with disdain. You think an apology is going to fix this? That you can just say sorry and everything goes back to normal? This isn't a TV show. Melissa. This is real life. And you've just destroyed everything we had. I walked into the living room, grabbed a file from the coffee table, and held it up. I've already spoken to my lawyer, I said, my tone unwavering. I filed for divorce. You'll be served tomorrow. I want you out of this house by the end of the week. I've already packed a few of your things. Her sobs turned into full-blown wails, her body shaking violently. She looked at me with red, swollen eyes. But where will I go? That's not my problem anymore, I said, turning my back on her. You should have thought about that before you decided to betray me. She continued to cry, but I didn't look back. I walked into the kitchen, poured myself a generous glass of whiskey, and took a long drink. As I stood there watching her through the archway, sobbing on the floor next to the dining table, I realized something. I don't feel anything anymore. The rage, the pain, it was all gone, replaced by a strange emptiness. It was a hollow victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. She had come home glowing, thinking she had gotten away with it, but now her world was crashing down, and she had no one to blame but herself. I took another sip of whiskey and walked toward the bedroom. I didn't dare look at her again. Her sobs echoed through the house, but I didn't acknowledge them. I closed the door behind me, and the sound of her wailing was the last thing I heard from our marriage.